I sold the pack and I made a ton. It's a 101. We just having fun. 100 son. Addicted to wax, not funny, huh? Like the summer sun. We stay with the heat when the summer done. RPS got it like that. I never would crack. I got in the low. So I'm adding the tax. What's up, y'all? Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Thank y'all for tapping in with Off the Checklist yet again. Today we have somebody special, real special, joining us in a minute. He just tapped in. He just hit the DM and said that he'll be joining us in a little bit. He had to restart his computer and whatnot. I remember when I first started getting on the podcast, I didn't know what StreamYard was. I didn't know how to operate anything. Honestly, I don't even know how to operate this right now as the host. I'm learning on the fly as we go. I don't know a lot of these controls, really any of these controls and what they do. But as we progress and the more guests come on, the more I'll be able to add more to the experience, and we'll be able to really make the engagement and experience that much more special. Of course, we're gonna have Rip and also Slab hosting and interviewing. You'll see us together. You'll see two of us. You might see just one of us, but you will see us in some shape, form, or fashion, bringing on several different people in the hobby, outside the hobby. It's still hobby talk, but it won't be a lot of numbers, right? The numbers we'll be hearing will be more years and things like that. But we like to hear about the numbers as far as monetary value and how to invest and what to invest in. All that is vital and very important, especially if you're that's your angle and that's what you're trying to do in the hobby. There's a lot of very intelligent and knowledgeable hobby experts, masters in this space who you could be learning from. I'm not going to say should be, but who you could be learning from. Find the right one that fits you, that you relate to, and yeah, tap in with them because there's a host of them. I like to learn from them all, as many as possible. Um, this is off the checklist. This is something that RPS wanted to start a long, long time ago. We actually did shoot a few not scenes, what I call these things. We shot a few podcasts, talk shows, whatever, just Rip, Pack, and Slab, us three, and we have never aired it. You know what I mean? We've shot some podcasts, some visuals, and things like that. A lot of stuff that we haven't done that we wanted to do, and we really wanted to make sure that going into 2022 we weren't about the talking and then we did some more action. And specifically, this is really for the people. A lot of podcasts use their platform for this same very reason, and because the hobby is about giving, right, and it's about receiving at the same time, but giving and sharing. We want to share our platform in the same way others share their platform with us when we first hit the scene. We want to share our platform with those who we haven't seen on other platforms yet, right? And people you have seen on other platforms at the same time. This is fully inclusive, but we do want to intentionally attack and not attack in a violent way, but we want to intentionally approach and invite minorities, people of color, black people, women, children, all walks of life, expert collectors, people who've been collecting for a long time, people who've been collecting for a little bit, people who just got back into the hobby, people who may be looking to get into the hobby, people who don't want to get in the hobby whatsoever. You know what I mean? So, but I'm gonna stop talking now because I can do that. I can go on and on and on. But my guy Van is here. I don't know if a lot of y'all know who he is, but you will now. I'm gonna bring on my guy Van and introduce him right here in the flesh, man. Van, what's up with my guy, man? Hey,
What's up? What's happening?
you always got that energy, Van. No matter when I see you, you always have that, and I can feel your energy through direct messages and text messages and stuff, bro.
My man, I'm very grateful to be here. I I'm very I live my life in an attitude with gratitude. So I gotta like push out and I gotta like
Right.
share that. So you know what I'm saying? I gotta give the love, uh, because we need more of it.
We do. We need a whole lot of it, and that's one thing that stood out with you since the first time we engaged and met, either through DM or at shows. With your was your energy, right, and the way you like you said, gratitude. You were thankful for the moment. You know, you were thankful for meeting any and everybody. You just don't treat me this way. I see you treat everyone the same way. Just thankful for every second and every moment, and it's that much more special when you get to share those moments or create them in something that you love or like a lot or admire, like the hobby, right? So, man, I'm happy that the hobby brought us together. I'm happy that you brought us together. You were, I think, almost everybody that I've had on so far are people who really reached out or said hi or stopped and said something to me first. You know what I mean? So I just really appreciate you taking the time to make me feel valued, make RPS feel valued, bro, and taking the time to be on off the checklist with us too. How's your holiday and your New Year's going?
Um, Full of gratitude, full of love,
Yeah.
full of food. I didn't gain 10 pounds. It was worth it. Um,
What were
you know,
you eating?
you know, a little steak. You know what I'm saying? A little chicken. I got that new Guy chili. Shout out Card Boys. I put that on
Hey.
everything. I got a baby boy, so a lot of
Hey.
snuggles, a lot of crying and peeing and pooping.
Yeah,
So is a lot of things to be grateful for, and also, you know, to make sure that I'm not only playing in the field of gratitude. You know, I mourn a lot of things, and that kind
absolutely.
of keeps me level, harmonized. You know what I'm saying? So you know, I still mourn state violence. I
Right,
mourn lives lost to negligence. I
right,
mourn stress that's been caused from you know, people getting laid off, things like that. So
right.
those are, you know, on one hand I'm grateful, on the other hand I'm mourning. So to me they go hand in hand, like together.
They do. That's that balance you were talking about, right? I mean, it sucks, but we wouldn't really know how to be grateful or what gratitude is, how to be happy if we didn't experience the latter, the opposite, you know? So we go through these things knowing that there'll be a better day, hoping that there'll be a better day. You know what I mean? And we keep that positive attitude. And that's why we're thankful for every second and every minute. You said you have a brand new baby boy over there.
Yes, sir.
Man, that's a blessing, bruh. That's a blessing. Congratulations to you and the family on that, for real, for real. How old?
Hmm. Almost 2 months.
Almost 2 months. Hey, that's what's up. That's what's up.
And I'd love to bring him to a show next month, but you know, we'll see how that comes out.
You getting them started early, aren't you?
Oh, you know, I'm gonna put the wrap on, you know what I'm saying? And then he's just gonna be like this and just sleeping the whole time. But you know, just get out the house, young man.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, man. Well, congratulations for real on that again. I know you're gonna have to get back to him real, real soon, so I'm not gonna keep you too long, bruh. But again, thank you for having you on. The first question that we always like to open up with and ask our guest is it's a trading card question, of course, right? And it's if you can create and make your own trading card, who would you put on that card? And I want you to think about somebody who's inspired you, somebody who's motivated you, somebody you may want to give flowers to today. Next month or a few months from now, when I have you back on, you may want to name somebody else or a different group of people. But today, whoever you want to give those flowers to, whoever you want to put on that trading card, who would you put on a trading card?
So, full disclosure, I'm an educator and I
Okay.
teach at the College of Alameda locally. Um, so I would be putting teachers up on these cards. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, yeah, yeah,
I'm thinking of the Key and Peele. They did this draft, and it was the teachers draft, and that's what I'm talking about right there. So
yeah,
I would have not just teachers, but just educators in general. Like, and you know, if you at the school, you're an educator. You know what I
yeah.
mean? So I've had great teachers. I've had whack teachers. I've had dope counselors. I've had whack counselors. I've had people that aren't in the classroom, but they worked in different parts of the school, and they were dope. So those are like people that I'm like, like their rookie card. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's an auto one of one. That's
Right.
a PSA 10. Like those are the people that I would think first. That like those are the cards that I'm after. Like the people that inspired me the most, like Miss McGee, my second, third grade teacher, Mr. O'Neill, history teacher in 11th grade. So people like that, and then also some modern day teaching goats,
Okay.
like or educator goats. You know what I'm saying? Like a Peter Pac-Man. Not but from the educator
Right.
perspective, and fine. On one rookie card is the educator, the other rookie card is the hobby. You got two rookie card parallels.
I
Uh,
appreciate that.
so then another group or people that I would like to put on cards are some people who've really like helped move society. You know what I'm
Mm,
saying? I'm thinking of a Harriet Tubman. I'm
mm,
thinking of Dr. Martin Luther King. I'm thinking of Coretta Scott King. I'm thinking of Malcolm X. I'm thinking of Cesar Chavez.
right.
I'm thinking of uh, like Yuri Kochiyama. Like those are
Right.
like social justice and civil rights leaders. Like, yeah, let's get them on the cards too.
Right, right. And I like that. I like cards and images like those and people like that because it forces you to learn more and dive into it. Sometimes we just look at the athletes for face value. They're more than that. They're more than Martin Luther King and all those other people you named are more than just activists, right? They were human beings. I'm pretty sure they had several hobbies that they were passionate about, things that they loved, they wanted to do. They may have rapped, you know what I'm saying? They may have done a whole bunch of things. So I kind of lost my train of thought there at the same time, but um no,
Story of
back
my
to it.
life.
You say story of your life. Yeah,
Yes,
but no,
sir.
those people here go, those people, it brings a story. It makes you want to dig. It makes you want to dig more into what they're doing. When we see the athletes, we just think that they're athletes, but there's more to them. You know what I mean? So when you talk about these activists and the people who really put others first before them for for the betterment for all of us, not just for one reason or the other. I just like images like that and stories like that because it has substance, you know what I mean? And I like to find ways that add substance to the hobby like this, to the individuals in the hobby, and then also to the athletes and the non-athletes that are on these cards and the people behind the cards, because there's a lot of substance within there too, you know what I mean? And then I also
I
like, go ahead.
Oh yeah, this makes me think of when Boogie signed with the Warriors, and he had a press
Yeah.
conference, and I watched the press conference, and he said, I'm happy to be here, but he also talked explicitly about the work he wanted to do in the community, and he said, I want to be in the hood, and that's the type of work that I'm going to do off the court, and he said that like almost
Mm.
word for word, and I'm like, you know what, Boogie, I rock with you, right? But that type of stuff doesn't get shown regularly, or it's not like highlighted. And then I think about Dame Lillard, one of my students. I guess he's like done some helping with like passing out backpacks, so he's just there at in Deep East Oakland. I forget the name of the park. It's in the 90s.
Sabrani.
And sorry, I mean Sobrani Park, that's a neighborhood, but it's like a park, you know what I'm
Oh,
saying?
okay, okay, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. So he's got this big truck, people passing out backpacks, and he's just over there, just chilling. And to me, Dame Dollar, I rock with you. But that type of work doesn't get highlighted, it doesn't get promoted. It's just kind of like a little story right off to the side.
Absolutely. Mike Jones just stopped in to say, "What's up? What's up, Mike Jones? Happy New Year to
Who?
you and yours, brother." Right? Mike
Who?
Jones, he's on any and every podcast, hobby related. He can't stay too long because he got to go to support everybody else. He just supports everybody. You know what I mean? Hey, but I really like that, Van. That's actually, I don't have a favorite team. in any sport whatsoever. I lost my fanhood a long time ago when I started playing fantasy, and then when Javid got drafted to the Lions, I lost the care for like cheering for a game. Like I know what it's about, so I understand why people love a team and have a team. I used to love the Seattle Supersonics when I was young and be passionate. You couldn't tell me anything. I wasn't a Jordan fan like that because I knew the Sonics were better than the Bulls. You know what I mean? I knew the Sonics were going to beat the Bulls. But now in my life, I think it's because I'm an educator like you. I look those actions that the players do. You know what I mean? Though when you see them just be normal human beings, that's what I fall in love with. I'm fortunate in my own right because I've been able to be around a lot of these athletes in the Bay Area, commute because of the community and things I've done in the community. And I've got to see them give and watch how they give and how genuine they are about it and how they really want to make an impact. I've witnessed Boogie in Sacramento give for years with his Christmas drive. He had a Christmas initiative. I want to say it's still going on, even though he's not in Sacramento. It was going on for a while, even after he left Sacramento. But I've been able to and when you see that, you fall in love with them. You could care less if they win, lose, because you know that they care about the next person in the same way you care, and they use their privileges and their means to give back. So, and we all do that in some shape, form, or fashion. You mentioned food, and I remember one of the first times we got to link up, Van made sure he had not just a plate of food for me, but for my whole family. And let me count, I'm 6 deep. I got 4 kids and a lovely lady. You know what I mean? So he made sure that my family was well fed, and you know what I mean. So I appreciate you for that, for real. So Van, I want to get into you. When I first met you, just like everybody else in the hobby, it was exactly for face value. We're all collectors, we all like cardboard, you know what I mean? But what really attracted me to you, other than the way you treated me and our relationship like that, just on the hobby wise, was your cards. A lot of the cards you collected reminded me of the cards I had when I was a kid, or that I wanted when I was a kid, specifically your Spreewell cards. Spreewell was my PC. Uh, uh, before we get into anything else, can you talk a little bit about cards and when did they become prevalent in your life or special in your life? When did you know you fell in love with cards?
So I must have been a kid. Everyone was collecting them. We were putting, like where the wall's like this, and then you kind of lean the card like that, and you throw the card at it. Like we
Yeah,
were doing that in elementary school.
yeah.
Um,
I think there's an old game that dates back, and it's actually in the San Francisco Chronicle, and it dates back to the early 1900s, and I believe it's called Crusoe, Robin Crusoe, and it's a game very similar to that, where you take your trading cards and you throw them up in the air, and if they land face up or face down, then it determines who gets to keep the cards. And it was a game that was played back then with trading cards, and I remember in my elementary school we used to do that too. So that just reminded me of that.
Crusoe, I'm gonna have to look that up. So,
Yeah.
the cards was everywhere. Talking to my classmates, talking to my homies about it. So, it started early on for me, elementary school age, and then all throughout middle school and a little bit of high school. Although I did start playing Magic the Gathering in high school, but some life things happened. I moved,
Uh-huh.
and the hobby just kind of fell by the wayside. And then I picked it back up again in my early 20s because I had read a book about investing. I was like, oh, well, maybe cards is a good investment. So then that's when I picked up a LeBron rookie refractor BGS 9.5 for $100. And yeah, all
What
right.
year
You
was
know what
that?
I'm saying? It was a pristine, tops pristine
Uh-huh.
refractor. Like he got the baggy ass shorts on, and he got the Air Force, or I forget which J's he has on.
What year
Um,
did you buy it in? What year was that you bought it?
2003.
2003, the same year. Wow.
That was his rookie year, and I bought a little bit of him. I bought a good amount of Kobe then, and I just sat on it. I just forgot about it because I only collected for a year then, and then during the pandemic, shout out SVG Breaks. He just posted something on his personal IG, and I was like, oh, what do I got? And so August 2020, I'm back in, and it brings me a lot of joy. It brings me the nostalgia as a kid, it brings me so it brings me the community love, and that's really what I was searching for during the pandemic that I couldn't find. I mean, I was barbecuing a lot. I was selling barbecue out my backyard, but I couldn't find that love in the barbecue community. But I found it
Right.
in the hobby, or I thought that the hobby was somewhere where I could find it. I put it out there, and I found the community, and I found the love in the hobby. So, I'm those are the two things that the hobby brings me. It brings me the joy. It brings me the nostalgia, and well, fine. It brings me a little bit of intellectual engagement. There we go.
I like that. I like that. Another thing I noticed too about you though, Van, is it seems like you frequent or you frequent and you've been to a lot of card shops locally and outside your local area, but there are still local card shops to somebody. Can you talk about that? Why do you to me it appears like you love card shops. You're always shouting them out different states. I want to ask you, do you have a checklist on all the card shops you've been to? You know what I mean? Like, what is it about card shops that you love so much?
So I think as a child, the card shops were the staple. It was. I mean, I guess you could find cards at a supermarket, but the card shops were the staple of like collecting in the hobby, and sometimes the card shop had the arcade games. You know what I'm saying? So you find me there playing the arcade games too. So I just think back as those were the primary things, nostalgia of like the card hobby back when I was collecting in the 80s and early 90s. And so when I got back in, I was like, oh, what's up with the card shops now? And there are card shops, and there's more and more popping up now. But before more and more start popping up, I was like, oh, well, let me go pay a visit. Maybe some of them closed or not open for walk-in. You can only come to the front door, things like that. So I also thought, okay, well, the type of energy I want to put out in the world, let me put out the energy of let's promote the local card shops, visit your local
Right.
card shops. And if we were traveling, like for me, the primary reason to travel and go across the country or the world is to eat and then
Hmm.
see people that I love and see
Right.
people that I know, things like that. And then add a third one, card shops. So 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 I mean, I'm visiting people, I'm eating the good food locally, and I'm visiting the card shop. So I might as well, I like to chop it up with the card shop owners. They're like, oh, I've been around 30 years. Dope. Or we just opened a year ago. Dope. I want to hear the story. I like hearing the story. I like hearing how like they got into it. Because if they've been around for 30 years, they must have like not done another career, not another thing, and they
Right.
decided to go all in on cards. Like I like hearing that story
That's
of it.
passion.
So
Yeah.
yes, sir. Yes,
That's
sir.
passion. No, no, I agree. There, my local card shop was 10th inning baseball in Pinole, California. My guy Jim was there for us. I'm 38. He just closed down last year, sometime right a few months ago, not too long ago. He had to be open from the time I was 9 to 37. You know what I'm saying? And even probably before that. That's just me, almost 30 years. And you named something important, the stories. I can walk into when I was younger, I used to walk into the shop and my pops would let me pick out a single or something like that and buy a pack or two, maybe. But Jim would always give us something, right? And then as an adult, when I had kids, I go in there with my children and he'd always be giving my kids something. But there'd always be other older gentlemen in there and they'd always be telling stories. And they can pick up a card and tell you a story about an athlete that they saw play in person or that they got to meet. And you don't get these stories unless you take the time to go to these shops and sit down and actually build a relationship and listen. You know what I mean? And with that, that's like a home. It's your second home. You know what I mean? It's more than just the information being gained. It's the rapport and the relationship that's being built, and it's certain things you can't get back. You know what I mean? Or you certain things you can't place value on or monetary value on. And I feel like information, like stuff you can read in books or stuff, stories that people tell you are sometimes far more valuable or add value to the card or to the hobby or even just to your life. So when I see these pictures of these card shops that and you tell the stories, it really makes me want to be accountable and really make sure that I continue to go to these card shops, right? and make sure that I put that on my list. I'm not gonna lie, I'm just like you. I'm not to the point where when I travel, it's for food and family yet. I travel because my lady makes me and the kids fun for the kids. So then it's fun for me. But then third and fourth, I go to every toy shop and card shop I can while I'm out the way. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely see that, and I want to learn from you and hopefully show others how important that is in the hobby, not just as a kid, but as an adult too, to support the local card shops, even if you're not buying anything per se. Go in there and learn something. You know what I'm saying? Build a relationship and build rapport.
That's what's up. Even though like you can buy nowadays, you can still buy cards online, or you can buy Panini Direct or whatever Fanatics is going to do direct to consumer, or you can go to Target. Local card shops are still very, 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 very important.
They are. My gym would still be around if we were if this was known and felt, you know what I mean, throughout. And there was never a dull moment. And a lot of, like you said, there's a lot of LCSs popping up, but there's also a lot of them that didn't make it through the pandemic, that were around for a long, long time, that just weren't able for a bunch of reasons. It wasn't just economics, family, a whole bunch of things combined. And you know what I'm saying, they had to turn away. But I'm definitely seeing more, and definitely advocating for going to the LCS, going to the card shows as well too, and supporting your vendors, supporting your card shop owners, supporting the collectors, because this hobby is just a big ball of group economics. When we all support each other, we all win. You know what I mean? So buying and selling from each other, trading those stories from each other, inviting more people to these shows and things like that. That's what it is. When did you start going to shows, man? Did you go to shows in your 20s and things like that?
So my first and only show when I was younger was, I think it might have been 1995 or
Mm-hmm.
1996, and it was a show at I don't know, it was on Van Ness Avenue in San Francisco at a
Okay.
Hyatt or a Radisson hotel or something like that.
Okay.
And I had brought some stuff to trade and to sell and things like that. And I only stayed like an hour. But then the next show that I went to was in December 2020,
Mhm.
and it was
Wow.
in it was in
Fast
Vallejo
forward.
at the fairgrounds, or I mean, I know it as Marine World,
Yeah.
but now it's Six Flags Discovery Kingdom.
Right. 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 I remember Marine World days.
Yeah, so it was up there. Shout out the Card Addict 232. He hosted that, and now he holds the shows in Fairfield.
Hey, one man, it great shows too. Great shows too at that. Shout out to Card Addict for real, for real.
I guess he's got one coming up, but I don't. There's no flower out, so it's not official yet.
Right.
But I mean, after that December 2021, I was like, I'm trying to go to all of these, and I think I've pretty much been going to all of them up until the birth of my baby boy, and so now I'm just kind of picking and choosing. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah. Yeah. I feel that. For me, I know I went to card show. I know my father took me to a card show when I was a kid, but I can't remember. I couldn't tell you where it was, what I got, if so. It really, I just know he did it. My dad did almost any and everything he could for us. You know what I mean? So I know I've been to one, but my first real card show was like still during the pandemic, right towards, we're still in it, but was Dallas. I don't know if it was January. I don't remember when it was, but it was Dallas because things were still shut down out here. So in order to get that card show vibe, my guy Rez out in San Antonio told Slabby and Jav and I and Rip and I to get out there, come to the Dallas card show. So we got we got tickets. Slab and I were able to get out there, and it was, man, it was an overwhelming experience. I've been, before 2020, I was going to every Comic Con and toy show. So there were cards still, and I was always collecting cards. You know what I mean? But because my kids are more into toys, and I'm still, I like toys and cards. Just I'm not gonna pick and choose. I love them both. It depends what day. Maybe I like the other more. You know what I mean? But my kids prefer the toys, so we always went to the Comic Cons and the toy shows and those type of things. But when I started going to the card shows, I felt that same nostalgic feeling and that same and community vibe almost. Now I feel the card show, what I will say is I know the hobby is bright and it has a lot of growing that will happen. Because if you look at a Comic Con and you look at a card show, you'll see how a Comic Con is like a, a festival, and I see the hobby becoming that, where just a fully inclusive, intentional, engaging festival. Almost, almost. I could just see some places going that way. You know what I mean? But the best part about it is this, that community feel. And when we went to those shows, just seeing all of the people who have been doing it for so long. You know what I mean? That was the most attractive part to me. My first two card shows, I didn't buy anything at all. I flew to Dallas for my first two card shows, and I literally wanted to talk to every vendor I could and ask them and pick their brain on their history of the hobby. I wanted to go to the tables who had the oldest cards and ask them, well, when was that card? What can you tell me about that card? And do you know if there's a card older? Right. And that's the type of things I wanted to do. When I went to National for the first time, I didn't buy anything at National. No, I lied. I did buy something at National. I bought two cards at National in a box, but that wasn't my intention. My intention was to learn as much as I could. You know what I mean? And I feel I did. And that's also a great part about being a part of the hobby, is you can still get value, add value, find value, and not have a dime in your pocket.
Mm, mm. I love that. And uh, the value doesn't always equal money.
Right. Speak on
And
it.
value is, if it, if it speaks to your heart, that's value there. If it inspires you, that's value there. Um, so that's what's up. And that kind of blows my mind. Like, oh, you didn't buy one thing, but you were more there to like chop it up and learn. Like, you don't hear that every day. Like everyone's about the going to the card show to get a card, or to flip, or to sell, or make money. But then you there as a student of the game. That's what's up, man. Like,
Yeah.
like
Yeah. Yep.
why though? Why?
Why? Because I study patterns. Like, I study the
Mm,
hobby history. And one thing's for sure, two things for certain: the hobby's not going anywhere, and there will always be a flip. Just like in the stock market, there will always be a flip. So whether I get in today or I get in next year, I'm going to miss a lot of opportunities, of course. But if I'm able to see those opportunities and track them and know that they were an opportunity, the next time they come around, if I'm able to take advantage in that way, I'll take advantage. You know what I mean? So I just like to be patient, and then it really helps me on what I like changes so much, because I learn so much about the hobby as I meet more people and what they collect and what they turn me on to. Then it makes me study more and learn more. Then I find out different things I didn't even know existed, and it become my favorite for, you know what I mean? And that might last only a month, 3 months, and I still have the same love for it. But then I learn about something else, and now I want to learn about that. You know what I mean? And I'm real patient. Like, even with my toys, man, I have over 350 Black Panther toys, new in box. And before I go to eBay, I will wait a year, 2 years, and I
mm.
like to hunt. I love the hunt. It brings me back to being in the back seat with my dad, and he taking us places, and us having to fall asleep in the car and listen to music, and it's forcing me to spend time with my family, and you know what I mean. It's just, I don't ever want to go feeling, you know what I mean. So I buy stuff off eBay. Don't get me wrong, but I love to look for it first and search for it first. So when it comes to the card shows, there's a lot of stuff I see I love and I want to buy. It's like a candy store, it's a toy store. Card shows are toy stores to me too, but I know it's gonna be there. I go to all these card shows and see all these cards, and I know it's going to be there. Yeah, I might have to pay more for it next year, but maybe not. I might pay less, you know what I mean? But um,
So
I
is
just
this?
uh-huh.
I remember asking you, what are you investing in? And you said, I'm investing in myself. I'm investing in the RPS. So
Yep.
this is what you mean by investing in yourself. Investing in RPS is like learning and learning and learning.
Learning and learning and learning. Yep. That's part of the investment. You can't invest without the knowledge. You know what I mean? The more you know, the more you gross. So we have to learn a lot. We have to know what we don't know too. There's a lot we don't know. That's why we try and talk to as many people as we can, align with a lot of people. You gotta like Card Killer. My guy Card Killer told us at National, you got to build the stage before you get your audience too at the same time. So when it comes to the RPS, I've been don't get me wrong, we're just like every other collector, man. We've done everything. We've invested it. We've had flops. We've failed. We've done great. I got sealed wax that I bought years and years ago, hoping that this day would come 40 years from then. It came 5 years from then. You know what I'm saying? To where now the wax I bought 10x or 100x on some things. You know what I mean? So, but other things, hey, I used to but then on the flip side, I used to PC Thon Maker. Like I thought he was going to be the next Kevin Garnett. So I failed just like a lot of us have failed. You know what I mean? But when it comes to investing in ourselves, we really wanted to just show ourselves. I'm an educator like you, bro. I have to take a different approach to things. I can't always can't invest in cars where I can invest in cars. I can show them how to invest in things they can invest in investments and teach them things, but to make it fully relatable, um, I gotta, show them that you're the investment. You know what I'm saying? The players. We just talked about the value in education and the educators, from every staff member to the custodian, who is the king and queen of the school, and the secretary. They run the school. Then it's the principal. Principal is always third. That's what people don't know. The custodian is the first person there, last person to leave. You know what I mean? Then it's the secretary. Then it's the principal. 9 times out of 10, and really, it's a lot of teachers that's on deck before that. You know what I mean? So just knowing that, we just want to show people, because there's a lot of people who do it too. Look at Lameem James. You know what I mean? He doesn't go around advertising anything he sells. He doesn't. Yeah, he's made sales before, but he doesn't use his platform to sell or to take advantage of anybody. He doesn't. His investment is in the hobby, is in feelings and emotions, right? It's in making people feel. It's in making people smile. You know what I mean? And that type of investment, you don't need a dime. You can be a
Mm.
part of the hobby. You can add value to the hobby. You can have a million. Look at how many followers he has, if that's what you want. You know what I mean? And he's not even looking for that type of stuff. He can care less. I'm pretty sure if he's the only one who laughs at his stuff. You know what I mean? And that's usually how great things start. You love it, other people are going to gravitate towards it. And there's just so many other people with that mentality in the hobby, whether they sell cards or not. And I think that's the important part, of what we want to invest in ourselves so much, is just for that right there. Just to, you know, other people have laid the blueprint down in their own way. You know what I mean? And RPS wanted to do it in their own way to add value to the hobby. And so many people have been open arms and embracing, like you, Van, that it just makes it like now a responsibility, you know what I
Mm.
mean, for us to continue. Like I said, I'm an educator. I can't, Van, I never rapped before August 2020. Same way you hop back into the hobby August 2020, right? I started rap. I'm 38. I started rapping at 37. August 2020 was my first time ever rapping. And I can't rap about the same stuff these kids listen to. You know what I mean? I'll lose my job and it's not cool. That's not for me, it's not cool. I may listen to the music and bob my head because it sound good. And I'm, you know what I'm saying? But that's not my type of thing. So knowing that even when I'm at work and when I'm not at work, I'm a role model no matter what. I have
Mm.
to, no matter what, I have to live by this. You know what I mean? Because I never know who's watching me. So with that, and my brother and my cousin, they feel the same exact way. Jive and Marky feel the same exact way. Rip and Slab, their parents, their fathers, their family men. You know what I'm saying? We definitely want to represent our family before any and everything. And by the angle that we're trying to take and add value, we feel that a lot more people will be able to take that same angle and make it even greater and bigger and just so much more to the hobby. You know what I mean? So that's why we want to invest in ourselves, because we believe investing in people. And if we're not happy, if we're not taking care of ourselves first, we can't take care of anybody else. So you know what I'm saying? We're the test. We're testing it out on ourselves. And showing everybody else, like a host of other people are doing too.
That's real. That's real. I think about something that you had said a little bit earlier about, like, Comic Con is a festival, right?
Yeah,
And then you know, there's about to be a dope show, event,
yeah,
conference,
yeah.
or festival in Vegas hosted by who?
RPS and Alex, man, we in the
Hey!
building. We in the building. We in the building. I'll say this. Yeah, yeah, definitely One Mint Collector Show, January 28th to 30th. I definitely believe it's a step in the right direction. I believe card shows have been making a step in the right direction well before this too. Though, if you look at Prism God, look at the Card Addict. I mean, these shows have every show has stepped it up in some shape, form, or fashion as far as engagement and making the vendor and the consumer and the collectors feel that much more a part of the hobby. So, it's only right that the Mint Collective step it up too. And we'll see January what it's really all about though.
I like how you said it's a step in the right direction, that there's an evolution. And I'm gonna have to go to one of these Comic Cons to get the vibe of the festival. Like
I mean, bro, part of the reason why you see this when you go to a Comic Con, like my first Comic Con, I didn't fit in because I went dressed like a normal civilian. Right when you go to a Comic Con, my kids were looking at me like I was crazy. They're in their Halloween costumes. Everybody is just fully representing their passion, right? I just see a time, even if it's not us adult. A lot of times, hobby culture, though, a lot of people represent. They come dipped and dressed, and people have their shoes, and there is a hobby culture. I'm not saying the hobby doesn't have a culture and things like that, but I'm saying more. There can be more. There can, you know what I mean? You can express yourself in any way you like. You can dress however it is. I'm not going to put a label or a title on it. This is how RPS chooses to do it. You know what I'm saying? We choose to rock our home team, and we have some other players and collectors and things that we represent on our merch too at the same time that's coming. You know what I'm saying? To show people what's going on. So that's really you got to get to a Comic-Con, bro. You got to, because even outside the Comic-Con, it's a function. I mean, it's a function. It's a function. It's the same thing. It's collectibles being sold, being bought and sold and traded. Same thing. It's a function, man.
I think
Yeah.
there's an East Bay Comic Con coming up, if I'm correct, like in Concord. I was trying to like look at
Conquer
you know.
Con. Yeah, Conquer Cons go crazy. Yeah.
You been to that one?
All the time. All the
Okay,
time.
okay, okay. But I
All the
mean, it's
time.
it's like the San Diego one, like the big one. That's the one you're talking about.
Yeah, see that one I haven't been to. I've been to LA Comic Con and
Hmm.
all the local cons and some other bigger ones outside the Bay Area. The biggest one I've been to was the Los Angeles. They had one a few years back in LA before the pandemic hit. And that one was crazy. But San Diego, that's the one. I haven't been there yet. I haven't been lucky enough to get a ticket to that yet. I tried, but I've seen it. I've lived vicariously through a lot of other collectors who who went, but I'm definitely gonna put that on my bucket list for sure, for sure. So Van, before we got here, I want to keep you. I know you got the baby boy to get back to. I want to get back to the education part. You specifically, what got you into education? And how
Um,
long have you been an educator?
a, 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 a combination of great teachers and whack teachers really got me into education. I think I had figured out like, okay, what do I want to like? I wasn't sure what I wanted to do with my life, and then I thought about the really good teachers, and I thought about the really whack teachers, and I thought, okay, if I could be one of the really good teachers, then I might be able to make a dent on society. Those weren't the words that I used at 18 years old, but I determined then that I was going to go into teaching. So, I mean, I count grad school because I had my own class, and I had a grade book. So I count grad school as a teaching. So 18 years, 18 years teaching math, and
Teaching numbers,
oh, but now
numbers and
is
letters, numbers and letters, because there's letters and lines in math too. That shit get confusing.
yes, sir. But it evolved to teaching math, but also teaching math in life, but
Right.
also teaching math and like some critical consciousness about, what is it? You want the blue pill or the red pill?
Uh-huh.
The red pill, you go back to life, and the blue pill, you get to see what's really going on.
Right.
So a little bit of the blue pill, things that's you know, some zoomed out stuff, right?
Right.
But not too conspiracy type of stuff. Um, things like let me think of one. Oh, here we go. All right. So in math, there's a theorem called the Pythagorean theorem.
I've heard of that
So
before.
yeah, it's a squared plus b squared equals c squared, and it applies to right triangles. Yep. C is the diagonal, and then a. So you got a b c,
Hey,
and
once you
then
stop carrying the one, you lose me.
yeah. I mean, it's good. Okay, but the point is, Pythagoras
Uh-huh.
is a Greek mathematician.
Facts.
Okay, yeah, but he gets the credit for this theorem. But ain't no pyramids in Greece. In fact,
Ah,
he studied in Africa.
facts.
So, so it's a little thing like that where it's like, so to me, okay, fine, you know how to use the formula, but you need a little bit of that extra knowledge of, so, oh, okay, so this European dude, he gets all the credit for that formula, but people long been using it in Africa and Central and South America for millennia before he was alive. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But he gets the credit for it. So those are things like that. Like I like to educate people on in my classrooms. Just
I'm
just a little snippet. You know what I'm
I love that, Van. I actually was a student at Alameda College years back, and I had a professor who taught me the same exact things, bro. Two of them. I can't remember their names. There was one Caucasian lady, and she used to breathe the same things that you're saying, and there was another Caucasian gentleman, one English teacher and one linguistics teacher, and they both used to yeah, they used to the same exact, you know what I mean? Same things you're saying. They used to point out the same things. So shout out to the professors over there in Alameda for
I
keeping it
gotta find them.
100.
They're probably retired, but I
They're
gotta find
probably,
them.
yeah, this was back in 2001, 2002. So this was a while back since I've been in Alameda. So Van, a couple more questions for you, bro. If you could, if you can tell your 18-year-old self as an educator first, if you can tell your 18-year-old self one thing, what would it be?
Only one? I got hella.
Yeah, you got to pick one. Nah. Or
Okay, okay,
things. What would you say?
okay. Um, what I would say now is what I would say different 10 years ago. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
10 years, like so I'm 41 now. So, at 31, I would have told my 18-year old self something different. Okay,
Uh-huh.
so let's go with 41.
Okay.
Okay. Um, everything is gonna work out fine, and continue to do what you do, which is bust your ass and do it with uh, love and positive intentions. That's what I would say to myself.
I like that. I like
What
that.
about you?
All right, see, I'm 38 now. If I can tell my 18-year-old self something, it would be two things. And one of these things I discussed with my guy Joe yesterday. One would be slow down. And then at the same time, the other would be stop, don't procrastinate. I'm a huge procrastinator. I used to be a huge procrastinator. No, I am. I try not to be because I am. So it's that balance. You know what I mean? So I procrastinate a lot, or I have procrastinated a lot, or what. So it would be not to procrastinate, but then at the same time, take your time. Like, because then at 18, I was trying to rush through so many things and do so many things from 18 to 28 probably, or to 30. Everything was just so fast, and I never took the time to build a relationship or get to know people, or you know what I mean. It was like I was living in LA or something like that. It was just everything was going so fast. And now it's I kind of treat life like this. I like to sit and talk to any and everybody I can. I like to listen. You know what I mean? I can learn from any and everybody. So I would definitely tell myself to slow down and listen more, for sure, for sure. What would you tell yourself as a collector from now and then?
Hmm. I hadn't thought of this question. The other question I've thought of many times. Okay. All right. Let's just go off the dome. Okay. I would
Uh-huh.
tell myself as a collector that um things are gonna go up, and your gut instincts at 18 about what's gonna go up is cool. So collect a little bit of that and collect a little bit of whatever else you want to collect.
Facts.
Uh, so if I was at 18 and okay, who had come out then? Okay, so Kobe's rookies were just out for a few years. I tell myself, hey, collect some of the Kobe rookies, even though he hadn't won nothing in 1998. You can collect some Jordan rookies, even though he had won 6 by then. But they're too expensive for me to collect that 1998, and then collect whatever the hell else you want to collect. So, but then I gotta put that back on you. So,
Uh-huh.
because I want to hear what you got to say to this.
I would tell myself from now to collector when I was 18, maybe to value my collection a little bit more. Like I said, I was a closet collector. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Um, and I don't know what I feared, you know what I mean, publicly about coming out with my collection or saying I was a collector. Certain people knew I collected. It wasn't necessarily a secret, but it would literally me over my box spending time with my collection. And then I have maybe two or three people, my brother, and then one of my best friends, and then my god brother who every so often would rip wax with me and experience, and we'd have fun together. But 90% of the time it was just me in that box, me and those cards. It was like wax therapy, really thinking about those times when I was a kid and I couldn't get it or I didn't have it or me still wanting it. You know what I mean? And me being 18, 19, still feeling like a kid, looking around like, all right, maybe nobody looking at me feeling like a kid. You know what I'm like? I'm going to keep it 100. That used to be me because I remember what scarred it for me, bro, was when I was in middle school. I can't remember if it was sixth, seventh, or eighth grade, but I was a huge collector. Everybody knew I was a collector at school. And I had a slumber party at the house and invited all my friends over, bruh. And every Jordan insert, Penny Hardaway insert right now that's selling for crazy. My friend stole it from me, bro. I had yeah. This is somewhere 95 through 97. Like, and then they come to school the next day like they my friends. Like I had friends steal from me. Yeah. So that made me really weary on who I collected with and who I share. I think that scarred me. I got trauma. I got hobby PTSD. Is that a thing? If that's a thing, I got it. You know
It is a
what I
thing.
mean? Yeah, I got it. I've been traumatized.
Woo,
So I think
that's
that's what
rough.
did it for me. Yeah. Um, After that, that's when my collection became quiet, and I didn't come out until I didn't bring my collection back out until 2019, 2020. You know what I mean? I would always share stuff on my social media every couple months because I'm going to the card shop every month still. I'm just not putting it out there. I
Mm.
didn't know, bro. I was so ignorant in 2020. Before 2020, I didn't know there was one person on earth that posted their cards on social media. And then when I started logging on to social Instagram and actually putting hashtags in and looking, I'm like, wow, there's a whole community. I was ignorant. You know what I mean? I was ignorant to a lot of stuff in the hobby because I only knew what I knew.
Mm.
And but at the same time, I've been involved in breaks since like 2012, 2013, back when you can only break National Treasure stuff with these card distribution spots and with these big breakers. There wasn't no retail breaks back then and all them this stuff that's happening now, which is great now. But like I was a part of the hobby. It was just, me and then maybe one of my friends or my brother with me, you know what I'm saying, from time to time. So I would definitely wish I would have been more proud to be in the hobby and stood on that. Like now I'm 38 and I can walk outside even without rapping about the hobby, but I'm proud of it. Yeah, I rap. I'm 38 and I just started rapping. It sounds foolish, but I'm proud of it because of what it is and what we do. You know what I mean? So I wish I was proud to be who I was and what I liked when I was 18, 19, 20 instead of I wish I knew who I was or believed in who I was instead of still searching and following and trying to lead, not even knowing who I was. You know what I mean? So that's what I tell myself for sure, for sure.
Feel it. Feel it. Then I think like how many 18-year-olds know who they are, right?
Right. Right.
And I'm glad to have met you at 37. Because there's an 18-year-old in you, and then there's a 37-year-old in you right now. So it's
Yeah.
an
I
honor.
I got a whole lot in me. Anybody who's ever touched me, allowed me to learn from them or teach them is in me right now. People always I give me flowers and gratitude, but that goes to my parents. That goes to my brother, my cousins, my family, who built the foundation, and then the village that I was privileged enough to be in, and those parents who were allowed to guide me at the same time. There were several of them, and then extended to, like you said, teachers and coaches. right? Who led the way and who made sure I was on a straight and narrow, even though if I wasn't on a straight and narrow, they were saying the things they were supposed to say, right? And then even the kids that we work with and the young people that we work with, I learned from them more than anything, bro. So, and that's every day. So, when you see me or hear me, it's really thousands of people that you know what I'm saying deserve the credit for sure, for sure. And I know you could relate to that for sure.
My man.
My man. Hey, Van, bro, it's been a blessing, bro. Like for real, for real. I appreciate your presence, man. Like I said, that smile is contagious. It lights up a room. Every time I see Van at a show, he just don't say what's up. He yells my name. We're taking videos, we're dancing. Like I said, he's feeding me. He's prepping food days ahead for my family. He's asking me how I like. Do I want my slabs, my meat, gems, or do I want them raw? I said I like, you know what I'm saying? I tell, and man, it's delicious. So when somebody cooks for you and they cook with love, that goes a long way. You know what I mean? I was working with in preschool when I was teaching preschool a few years back. One of a teacher I was teaching with didn't allow me to eat from the cafeteria lady because she said the lady didn't cook with love. She said she had too much hatred in her heart. She said, Peter, don't eat that food. It's not made with love. You only eat food that's made with love because that same energy goes into you. So Van, man, you poisoned me, but I love it, bro. You gave it to me. You know what I'm saying? So thank you, bro, for sharing that love, not only with me, but like I said, I learned from you by watching the way you treat others in the hobby. And that's the thing I admire the most about you is you treat everybody the same, from the custodian to the principal to the man on the block to the high-end collector to the person who just started. You wouldn't be able to tell with you, bro. So thank you for that. I love you for that, bro. If you ever need anything, you already know, tap in. We got you the long way, man. Is there anybody you want to shout out or give any flowers to before we get out of here?
Oh, first and foremost, shout out to the RPS fam. That's what's up for having me on. I want to shout out some mentors in the hobby for me. So SVG Breaks and Semper Cards. They really helped me out in the beginning, and we still chop it up from time to time. And then also, I want to shout out the local card show squad where we just see each other at all the card shows all the time. This is the same people, but we chop it up and um, we see each other. Hey, what's up? Just catch up a little bit, talk about some cards, and then we just kind of go on. So shout out to all the the local squad like Nestor Collects. Shout out to J. David Slabs, Graphics Cards. What's up with Keen? SF 49ers, 85. That's Kayla. So I want to shout out. And there's probably about 20 more
Of
people,
course,
20,
of
30
course,
more people,
of
but
course.
I was give them all some love, even though the name's not on here. So
Of course, of course. And if you follow Van, if you follow the card professor, then he's giving you the love already. So you already know that he's not leaving anybody out. You know what I'm saying? He makes sure he taps in. Van, man, much love and blessings to you and the family this year and beyond, man. Look forward to building our relationship. I look forward to learning and growing with you, brother. From RPS and Peter Pac, man. Happy New Year, man. Give the family our blessings, and I'll tap in with you, brother.
thank you, my man.
Yes, sir. Peace.